Welcome in, everybody, to TV Sports 27, and it is a somber stream here. We were originally planning on jumping on to talk a little bit today about the career and the life and everything about Terry Funk, and then, which we're still going to do, we're going to try to do our best to pay respects to both, but we were hit with, just a couple of minutes ago, an hour ago, hit with the news about Bray Wyatt's passing. I was literally sitting here eating dinner when the news came across. So we're going to do our best here, as this will now kind of be split between Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk, but hopefully to come in here and rather than, and I know it's obviously a somber time and everything that went down, but I want to read your guys' comments, and let's talk about the good. Let's talk about the good and favorite memories of the careers of Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. We're going to start with Bray Wyatt here. We'll wrap it up with Terry Funk at the end, and we're going to take a look at a Hell in a Cell match here between The Fiend and Seth Rollins, and I would maybe argue of all the different Bray Wyatt iterations over the years, The Fiend may have been the most popular, and I can just tell my own personal stories, and like I said, we got a couple folks joining us in the chat. I want you guys to, during this brief stream, tell your favorite Bray Wyatt memories, favorite moments, favorite matches, all that kind of stuff. And the reason I kind of lean on The Fiend is I've seen many different iterations of Bray Wyatt in person, and the most recent one was in January of this year in Tampa. I went to the show when it was Bray Wyatt cutting a promo. I even pulled up the picture. I was showing somebody the picture not too long ago, and I could show it here, but it's just kind of a blurry picture of the ring. But it was him, he was in the middle of his feud with LA Knight, and it was, I believe this show was the first time that Uncle Howdy got involved physically as well. And so I got to see that version of Bray Wyatt. I was at the WrestleMania in Tampa, where I got to see the Fiend comeback version. He had just come back from being all burned up by Randy Orton, and this was his big comeback. And, Alexa Bliss had the whole turn on him, but the amount of just walking, and there was a lot of walking around the stadium and walking around the corridor at Raymond James, and part of that was because, if you guys remember, that was the WrestleMania where there was the big rain delay. That was where everything got delayed, so it was often that the fans, we were having to leave the stadium and go underneath the seats where everything was, where all the concession area was. The amount of Fiend merchandise and people wearing Fiend stuff and the Fiend championships that I saw, I'd never seen that, and I've been to a lot of wrestling shows. That was the most of anybody that I had seen. So that's almost kind of why I say that the Fiend, that this may be his most famous iteration, is because at that WrestleMania, there was so much of that merch. Like every other fan, I feel like, had Fiend merch, and he was the opening match of night number 2, and it was probably the most popular. And of course, the Wyatt family, that whole run was amazing. And another one for me personally, he was a Troy University student. He went to the same university I did. I'm a graduate of Troy University with a degree in broadcast journalism, and Bray Wyatt also roamed those same broadcast journalism halls at Troy University, was on the football team as well. So kind of have that. Now he didn't graduate because he ended up leaving to go pursue his pro wrestling dreams, which he was obviously very successful at here. But I was, I think, 2 years before Bray Wyatt, or 2 years after Bray Wyatt, because he had just left, and some of the teachers that I had in the journalism department there knew of Wyndham and had taught him. And since, being a wrestling fan, I kind of heard some of those stories while I was there. But yeah, he had just left before I got there, so we did not cross paths. But the Troy University football team tweeted out about it as well, the Twitter account of Troy football. And we got KJ in the chat saying, I loved Bray back when he was with the Wyatt family, Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, John Cena, Roman Reigns. So many good rivalries. Yeah, I often think about that, and I'm actually currently, I'm binge watching kind of the different WWE and WCW, and I've been binge watching the early days of Main Event, as crazy as that might sound, because before it kind of turned into an enhancement show, the early days of Main Event had a lot of big names on it, and I'm in the middle of the 2014 run of Main Event, and that was around the time when the Daniel Bryan Bray Wyatt feud was going on, and that was right before Daniel Bryan Mania hit its peak and WrestleMania 30 and all that stuff, and Daniel Bryan joined. I don't know if people remember, people might forget, but Daniel Bryan was a member of the Wyatt family for a time, if you guys remember when that went down. And of course it was all Daniel Bryan's plan to infiltrate the Wyatt family and all that. Just so many good memories. The other one that I remember, you talked about John Cena. I think the one that I think about all the time is the choir of kids that came down that all had the sheep mask on and were singing to John Cena, and just how creepy and bizarre like that whole scene was. And of course they had the match at that WrestleMania 30 that we're talking about with Daniel Bryan, and a really good match. I know some people, they were really wanting Bray Wyatt to get the win there as John Cena, that of course picked up the victory. But that was where, people were singing, he's got the whole world in his hands. All the fans were singing it in New Orleans there, and that was kind of a big coming out party for Bray Wyatt, and the popularity just went from there. I think a lot of people, you could go to another iteration, the Firefly Funhouse, and how many people could have made that whole thing work. Like, what a look at that, and he's doing the Muscle Man dance right there on the game. But how many people could have, I don't think The Undertaker could have pulled that off. Not a lot of people can be as demented as he was in WWE, and then turn around and have a children's TV show within the body of WWE and pull it off to the degree that he did. You're talking about Randy Orton's feud. Of course, that was, he had a couple different feuds with Randy Orton. The House of Horrors match was one of the most unique matches in WWE history. I don't know if we'll ever see anything like that again. And then, of course, during the Thunderdome era, Randy Orton and The Fiend, all the various matches they had. The Inferno match that they had as well. Not many of those happened in WWE history, but Orton and The Fiend were a part of that. All the different characters, Sister Abigail that he had. Even Husky Harris, the Husky Harris NXT run. I remember because I was at Troy at the time, and we would watch NXT Season 2 every week, cheering on Husky Harris, and he came and joined up with the Nexus, had his early run before he would transform into Bray Wyatt there. So continue on with the comments. Like I said, I got a couple of you guys joining us. Let me know, what are your favorite Bray Wyatt memories, and following this one, we'll jump into what was going to be our original live streaming topic, which is talking about the life and career of Terry Funk. And so, just unfair, both of these happening so close together. And Terry Funk, the legend that spans so many eras, and then Bray Wyatt, that was just, I think people would consider Bray Wyatt perhaps in that legendary status, although his career was so short. It lasted a good decade or so, but just everything he did in such a short amount of time, and impact that he left. And hello to all you guys in the chat. Yeah, KJ sending his thoughts, Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. Of course, this match, this was the debut. I know a lot of people at the time, I think, hated the match. Maybe they can look back on it now with different eyes, but it was, I mean, The Fiend, we had never seen anything like that in wrestling, where Seth Rollins put everything he could to try to put The Fiend down, right? I mean, a Hell in a Cell match that had to be ended. It had to be ended. That's how physical it was. And then later on, The Fiend would go on to win the championship from Seth Rollins in the Falls Count Anywhere match. Daniel says, I remember Kane, Undertaker, and Bray Wyatt. Yeah, that was another. Of course, Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker. It was unfortunate that we didn't get a longer program, different eras, of course, but we got Bray Wyatt, and it was essentially, you know, The Undertaker didn't even make an appearance until WrestleMania. It was The Fiend, that Bray Wyatt, that for a month was doing solo promos, if you guys remember that. Solo promos calling out The Undertaker, and then The Undertaker made his first appearance at WrestleMania, so that was kind of another unique situation there, where Bray Wyatt, with just his voice and his talking, was able to put that rivalry together. You know, Alexa Bliss as well. I mean, what an impact and such a change of direction for Alexa Bliss. Braun Strowman got his start in WWE with the Wyatt family. Maybe we can check out some other tweets here as we continue on with this, as a lot of folks have been pouring out their thoughts and stuff. Any other Bray Wyatt rivalries that we can think of that, you know, for me, the Daniel Bryan one was definitely one of the biggest that I remember. And then I just remember the LA Knight one because it was so recently in the Pitch Black match, and hopefully, again, this is something people can look back with more fonder eyes. In the moment, I think people didn't like these matches, or they were kind of hard on these matches, but what a run it was the QR code era, right, of Bray Wyatt. And KJ in the chat saying, yeah, the thoughts for Bo Dallas as well. And also for IRS, you know, it was him, from what we understand from Triple H's tweet, that made the call to Triple H about the news. So, yeah, kind of. So, obviously, thoughts to a couple of wrestling legends in Mike Rotunda and Bo Dallas, of course. Bray Wyatt about to put Seth Rollins right through that thing. What about Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose? Remember that ambulance match they had? That's one that I remember very well, the ambulance match, and the one where the TV exploded in Dean Ambrose's face, and then the Fiend came out through kind of like the hologram in the ring. Like, how awesome was that? And then the stuff with Finn Balor, the match we never got, the Sister Abigail against the Demon, but all the stuff that entailed. So many unique things. Let's look at some of the tweets here. I'm going to look through Twitter. So many people have been posting their thoughts and their comments, and I'm going to scroll through them here. Ring of Honor is going on right now, so there's a lot of those kind of messages to have to sift through. Right through, there you go. There goes the Fiend putting them right through. That actually might be it. Oh, Rollins kicks out. Here, I'll just, let me actually just search Bray Wyatt, and we'll read some of the tweets while the rest of this match is going on.
I guess he thinks the one thing missing in this match is a steel chair.
And right off the bat, you see the official posting 25 minutes ago from WWE Impact as well. Posting The Rock. The Rock had his. Remember, The Rock and the Wyatt family had their fight at WrestleMania. And remember, The Rock got the win over Eric Rowan in seconds. That was The Rock's last WrestleMania match, was against a member of the Wyatt family. So, message from The Rock here: heartbroken over the news of Bray Wyatt's passing. Always tremendous respect, love for him and the Rotunda family. Love his presence, promos in the ring. connection with the WWE Universe. Very unique, cool, rare character, hard to create in our crazy world of pro wrestling. Still processing the loss of the GOAT Terry Funk, and now Bray Wyatt today. And we are going to, after this, do a match with Terry Funk and Ric Flair. And that'll kind of wrap up this stream. And then we'll try to get a little loose a little bit. We're going to head over to Twitch and do some stuff for there to try to cheer up the mood. Daniel Lewis says, my favorite Wyatt family in the Shield. Yeah, that was the last pay-per-view before the WWE Network era. And it was the 6-man tag Elimination Chamber. And yeah, people love that match. That one is one, go back and look at that one. And that was another one that was just unfortunate that the way timing was, you didn't get a few more months out of that, because how awesome that could have been. But we did get Bray and Roman. Anyone but you, Roman, that's famous. Anyone but you. We got Bray and Ambrose, the ambulance match. And then, of course, Bray and Seth Rollins here. Of course, Alexa Bliss, tweeting a lot. It's such a big impact that he had on her career as well. I mean, a complete change that what she turned into just being around Bray Wyatt. Eric Bischoff tweeting thoughts and prayers with the Rotunda family. Bray Wyatt left us far too soon. Yeah, of course, Mike Rotunda, employee of Eric Bischoff in WCW, so the Rotunda family and Eric Bischoff go back some way as well. The Bray Wyatt, man, I just saw a GIF. Remember the Bray Wyatt Roman Reigns tag team when they won the tag team championships together? Bray Wyatt winning the WWE Championship against AJ Styles. That would be his second championship win. Or the first WWE Championship win, and of course he would win the Universal Championship. Dijak tweeting out Bray Wyatt, such a lovely man to be around. Loved his family so much. Daniel Lewis says, this is my top 3 Bray Wyatt versus The Shield. And Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt. Yeah, Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt. That was awesome. I'll never forget the steel cage match that they had together.
He's reached the top. Now what? I shudder to think. Do it. Flamed across the way. Everyone in this building is just waiting on bated breath. We've all seen life-altering moments come from
Aleister Black tweeting out. Of course, Malachi Black now.
Ooh, that's how you dominate your opponent. Where do these superstars
said goodbye to Luke Harper 3 years ago. We say goodbye to one of the most brilliant minds this world has ever seen. That's definitely for sure. One of the, most unique personalities in pro wrestling history. And just some of the pictures here. There's Bray Wyatt in NXT. This is just me looking on Twitter here. Bray Wyatt as The Fiend, Firefly Funhouse, and the most recent run that, we'll never kind of know what that was going to be. Like all the stuff, Uncle Howdy and everything. And that, pales in comparison, obviously, to what's happened in a real-life situation. But, it's something that was so cool that the fans were so into, and all the QR codes and everything. And the hidden messages, and unfortunately that run ultimately cut short here. We got Alpha Sapphire joining us. KJ saying, I wish we got to see more Bray Wyatt in this era. Absolutely. Yep. We got a lot of them. We got a lot, but it's what you don't realize. How about Matt Hardy, when he came back to WWE, his broken Matt Hardy run was so entwined with Bray Wyatt, and one of the rare things in WWE history where something that happened in another company. Now we've seen WCW things like NWO come over to WWE, but Impact was still going on at the time, and Matt Hardy got to bring his Broken Universe over to WWE, which was unheard of. And Bray Wyatt was a huge part of that, and the one and only Broken Universe match we had involved Bray Wyatt and the tag team with Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy. That was awesome, which led to the big moment at WrestleMania, the Andre Battle Royal win. Of course, Matt Hardy as well had tweeted out talking about
good technique reversing Rollins.
You know, some of their history that they all went through. Some cool pictures there, so I encourage you guys to go check out Matt Hardy's post that he had.
Still doing a lot of damage, though.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why he would let him out right there.
Drives his opponent down with a Uranagi. Every fall on top of the cell is like putting your flesh through a meat grinder.
So looking through Twitter here for some more tweets from Sam Roberts tweeting out, of course. Top Dollar tweeting out about WrestleMania in New Orleans. And just what an atmosphere. Like, what a big atmosphere that was. The WrestleMania 30 match that he had.
There's a big reversal by Seth Rollins. We knew this was going to be a vicious match, but these superstars are taking it above anyone's expectations. Proving hell doesn't need to stay in the confines of this cell. Hell can go anywhere.
People posting the Raw 30th anniversary with Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker. You guys remember that when they came face to face?
The human torture rack.
Roxanne Perez as well tweeting out, rest in peace, Bray Wyatt.
Battled out 25 feet above the ground.
Just so many, just an outpouring of so many that worked with him over the years. Here's a GIF of the lights out, the pitch black match rather with LA Knight. That was the last big rivalry. That was it with LA Knight. So I think I'm not sure how the computer's handling this one. They're kind of stuck. We might do our own call this one off and say that Bray Wyatt's the winner here. But yeah, those are what I'll think about. Of course, being a Troy grad, like I said, like Bray Wyatt here, and then just the rivalries over the years, the Wyatt family, the stuff with John Cena, the stuff with Daniel Bryan, all the rivalries with Randy Orton, Undertaker, The Fiend.
This is beyond dangerous. This is more than reckless. No one should be up there, let alone performing these maneuvers. Kick to the gut.
Cranked around into a neck breaker. Oh, hold on. Is he thinking of a submission here? Targeting the shoulder.
Chris Jericho, he had quite the battle with Chris Jericho as well.
And he chooses to let go of the hold.
But just
Of course, confrontation with The Rock.
Submission could be very significant.
The whole who's who, and then The Fiend.
Wow, the power that takes is insane. We've already seen
Soon we could be seeing a submission here.
Well, this won't win the match, but it's one way to inflict a great deal of punishment on an opponent.
It's a roundabout strategy, but it
So
might work.
I think we'll call this one.
Yeah,
I think we're kind of stuck as far as this game in a loop, but we'll say right there, he put him out, Bray Wyatt, the winner there over Seth Rollins. So rest in peace to Bray Wyatt. Of course, the tributes are going to just continue to pour in for Bray Wyatt over the next couple of days, and I can only imagine what SmackDown is going to be like tomorrow. That was his home show. That is where he competed the last number of years. And or not even. I mean, it was gosh, it was only like a year or so, right? His run. Man, it was such a short run. So, yeah, that's the best we can say. Rest in peace to Bray Wyatt. It's a terrible, terrible situation that happened, and yeah, career cut way too short, but so many awesome memories that left behind in the wrestling world. And that is one crazy thing about the wrestling world, is that the library of memories that you leave behind that folks can have access to at any point is that's pretty cool. So up next, we will talk about Terry Funk here to wrap up this particular stream. And same thing, I want to hear your memories and everything about Terry Funk. When was the first time you started watching Terry Funk? I mean, he's spanned generations on the opposite end of a Bray Wyatt, a guy that had the opportunity for decades and decades, and you can pull up any promotion, and Terry Funk was a part of it. He from WCW, which we're going to take a look at this match with Flair, and because it was for me, I was born in 1989, so my first kind of early memories of Terry Funk and stuff, obviously I wasn't quite born yet, but I saw VHS tapes and best of tapes that you would get from your video store. And the match with Ric Flair, the I Quit match with Ric Flair, was one that was always on those tapes. So, so yeah, that was one that, my gosh, I mean, how how crazy was that? The bag over the head incident, and only Terry Funk, can turn Ric Flair into a baby face there, because Ric Flair was the big heel, the big bad guy in WCW, and then from there, I'm trying to think. My next memories of Terry Funk is I guess it would have to be Shotguns. I think Shotgun Saturday Night might have been those next times, because I didn't know about ECW until later on. Now I'm in the middle of watching ECW. As I said, I'm kind of binge watching the different eras, and I'm not only watching Main Event, but I'm watching ECW, and I'm in the middle of I'm just getting up to Hardcore Heaven, which is where Terry Funk is. I think he's gonna have a title defense on that show, but he just had the barbed wire match with Sabu on ECW. So Terry Funk and Bret Hart, yes, Daniel in the chat, Terry Funk and Bret Hart was another famous match. So I missed that original run of Terry Funk, because growing up, that era, the 90s, I was still young and didn't have access to ECW. So my next time with Terry Funk would be in Shotgun Saturday Night, and then of course he would have the run as Chainsaw Charlie, and that's where I kind of knew him from a lot there. I guess they did not make this a computer, even though you guys clearly saw me make this a computer situation. The dumpster match. How many great dumpster matches are there in the history of pro wrestling? Not very many, but go back and watch the dumpster match between Chainsaw Charlie, Cactus Jack, and the New Age Outlaws at WrestleMania. So, oh cool, we got a spammer in the chat. He's able to find enough grip to fight out of the hold. Crucial escape here. So yeah, hold on, give me a minute. Let me
headed to the top rope.
He's positioning himself, closing in.
From way up, great reaction from Ric Flair.
Sorry, trying to block somebody there. Some not so friendly comments there in the chat. I think I got them deleted. Okay.
Back and forth from these competitors. Good grief! That's a chop that'll wake you up.
Corey, so many things can transpire in a matchup like this. What could be that elusive X factor? It is
Okay. Had to block somebody from the chat with some not so respectful comments there towards towards Bray Wyatt. So, but yeah, Terry Funk, the dumpster match, Chainsaw Charlie tag team match. Go watch that one. The I Quit match with Ric Flair, and matches that a lot of people, the IWA match with Cactus Jack that happened in Japan but was so world famous. For me, I know a lot of people, the Terry Funk WCW run in the 2000s, but I remember his matches with Screamin' Norman. I love Screamin' Norman Smiley, and the matches, the hardcore matches that Terry Funk had with Norman were awesome. Were fantastic. So I think about those matches a lot as far as the career of Terry Funk. And then his run, when he came back, he did the hardcore homecoming event, did the triple threat barbed wire match, and then the next year at One Night Stand would be involved in the tag team match. And my gosh, what a crazy match that was with Edge and Foley, and my God, just the fire and the barbed wire, and that was, I mean, classic ECW right there. So as I said, I'm watching kind of the ECW 1997 stuff, and Terry Funk won the ECW championship at Barely Legal. There's the classic Funk moonsault, never pretty, but Funk, gets the moonsault there. And yeah, just the promos, the battles that he's had with Shane Douglas, the War of Words. A famous one, I think it was 95, that it was backstage. It was like a 30-minute segment or whatever, but Funk and Shane Douglas, just the promo war that they had back and forth. That it was a post-match press conference kind of thing that broke out into a brawl. There's the pile driver on the floor from Terry Funk. Absolutely incredible. A lot of different folks in Japan, tweeting out their thoughts, and the Funker gets the win. So both Funk, Bray Wyatt get the win here. But, man, we didn't even get a chance to really get too many deep into the Terry Funk memories. Daniel Lewis says, many of my childhood heroes from pro wrestling passing away. Terry Funk is the all-time best wrestler. His intensity, ability to withstand punishment, pain. Yeah, and like I said, I was just watching they didn't show it in full on the episode of ECW, but they had it in highlights with Sabu, that barbed wire match with Sabu, the triple threat match at the first ECW pay-per-view where Funk wins the ECW championship. What, you want to see emotion? I mean, just go watch those Terry Funk matches. Funk and Flair, the I Quit match, Funk and Lawler, the empty arena match, if you want to go see that one. I would say the dumpster match, Funk and Cactus Jack against the New Age Outlaws, and even Funk and Cactus Jack in the Falls Count Anywhere match on Monday Night Raw, if you want to go check that one out. The IWA match, in fact, for me, as someone that was a huge Hayabusa fan, and some of the only Japanese tapes that I ever bought was Hayabusa tapes, it was the barbed wire tag team match with Hayabusa and Terry Funk in that match. And I remember on these tapes, it's a lot of wrestlers I don't know, but it's like, I knew Terry Funk. Like, there's Terry Funk. I knew Terry Funk, and I knew Shawn Michaels when he was the guest referee on that tape. So, like I said, the ECW match, the tag team match, and go watch, if you want to see how versatile Terry Funk can be, watch the I Quit match with Ric Flair, and then go watch one of his hardcore matches with Screamin' Norman, because those matches were awesome. Go watch the Falls Count Anywhere match where they went into the horse stable with Chris Candido. Go watch his promos on Shotgun Saturday Night, or his promos on ECW. Go watch his promo that he had with Dean Ambrose in 2017. The man was still going strong. So, a legend, Terry Funk. Rest in peace to Terry Funk. Rest in peace to Bray Wyatt as well. Tough news on this day, but just wanted to share some thoughts and continue to share your thoughts. Daniel Lewis says, his hardcore career unrivaled. Only Mick Foley and Sabu were close to him. Career is one of a kind. a legend, a hero, one of the most dedicated wrestlers. And you're not going to find anybody to say a bad word against about Terry Funk. Like, in all your years, I've been watching wrestling my whole life, born in 1989, never heard anybody say anything bad about Terry Funk. That's what he left behind. Daniel Lewis says, I'll check out my favorites, Funk and Flair, Clash of the Champions 9, the I Quit match. Yes. One of the absolutely phenomenal matches. So, wow. Rough time in the world of wrestling as we're coming up on one of the biggest wrestling weekends. All In is coming up. 80,000 this weekend. So, a time where maybe we can have some positive thoughts and enjoy 80,000 in Wembley Stadium. But I know there's going to be a lot of tributes going on to Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt over the coming days for sure. And they're already pouring in left and right. So, yeah, hopefully did this justice. Like I said, we were going to do a couple Terry Funk matches here. But as I was eating and getting ready to set up this stream, the news broke about Bray Wyatt, and couldn't just come on and just talk Terry Funk without mentioning Bray Wyatt and all his contributions as well. But Funk and Flair, let's even just do a quick before we let this go, because I feel like we need to give a little more time to Terry Funk here. Because, I mean, his career started in 1965 with Dory going into WCW in the 90s. And that would have been around the first time that I kind of saw Terry Funk. Stuff with Gary Hart, of course, the I Quit match. Then he went to Japan for a while. ECW is the stuff I've been watching a lot now, lately. 1997. And the promo wars. Go watch the promo wars with WWE now contributing any Wyatt family, Wyatt merch purchases to JoJo and Bray's family. That's awesome. Alpha hitting us with that info. That is awesome news to hear. That is really cool that WWE is doing that. Go watch some of the promo battles between Terry Funk and Shane Douglas from the early 90s in ECW. The triple threat match, Raven, Stevie Richards at the first ECW pay-per-view. If you want to see something really violent, go watch the barbed wire match with Terry Funk. And, of course, returning to WWE, Chainsaw Charlie, the dumpster match that we talked about. And then even some of those WCW 2000 matches. It might not have been the greatest run of Terry Funk's career, but some of those matches on there, like I said, the Chris Candido match, the Norman Smiley matches, and then just even matches in MLW. He was part of the MLW feud with the Extreme Horsemen. I think he had some barbed wire matches in MLW as well. Then he had a brief run with TNA, and then the return to WWE. Funk was everywhere, man. So rest in peace, Terry Funk. Rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. For now, we are going to, and continue to leave your comments. This stream will go up. You can watch it as a replay. We are going to head on over to Twitch now and try to bring the mood up a little bit. So join us over on Twitch. We're going to stream for about an hour over there, play some other games, but let's get in a positive mood and watch some stuff over there. So we're going to end this one for now, but head on over twitch.tv/TBSports27. And we'll see you guys over there. But Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt, tough news this week for sure.